Dan, do you care to go around to do self-introductions while I navigate to Facebook Live?
I'd be glad to. Good morning, everybody. I'll start. Dan Bates, President and CEO of Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. Up early this morning. I don't know if you saw the news on Channel 5, but I was on there this morning after my 5:15 interview. So we'll see if I still have this energy at 5 o'clock this evening. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. We will start with self-introductions. And even though we're going to introduce our guest a little bit later, I'm going to let him start. So Tommy, if you want to start with self-introductions.
Sure. I'm just going to do a real brief one, and then I'll go into a little bit with the company later. But hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Thommy Long. I am the creative director of LemonGrenade Creative.
Nancy.
I'm Nancy O'Neill. I'm Director of Events and Leadership Hamilton with the Greater Hamilton Chamber.
Laura.
I'm Laura Merrill, IT Coordinator and Organizations.
Where's my face plant?
With the Greater Hamilton Chamber.
Michael.
Michael Frank.
Oh, sorry, two Michaels.
No, there are two Michaels. All right, other Michael go first.
Oh. Mike Gettard with Brown Dawson Flick Funeral Home, Funeral Director and Pre-Need Specialist.
Lisa.
Lisa Sandlin of Lisa Sandlin Design and WealthWave. I'm a designer of special needs and aging in place homes. I do from ground up new houses, and I'm also, I've been a financial advisor since 1993.
So, Michael Franks.
Outstanding. Michael Franks with Edward Jones down here on 3rd Street in Germantown. And also, I'm a platoon sergeant in the United States Army Reserves.
Okay, thank you. Judith.
Hi, I'm Judy, and I'm in the intern with the chamber.
Tammy, you're next.
Tammy Walton, I'm the Finance Director at the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. And I see Kenzie's next.
Kenzie Bryant, Graphic Design Specialist at Miami University Regional's Hamilton campus.
Glad you could join us. Roma.
Hi, everyone. Roma Patel, Team Logic IT owner in Westchester.
And then we have, I'm trying to read the name, that was Miami University. So
it's, just call me Pete. My dad, I'm an undergraduate at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and I study graphic design and digital marketing.
Glad you could join us.
Thanks.
I'm Dr. John Clemens. I'm a dentist in Hamilton.
Okay, glad you could join us. Is there anybody that I've missed? I think that's it. We are also Facebook Living this morning, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a much larger audience than you can see on the screen, but I want to thank everybody for joining us. So with that, Tiffany, you want to introduce yourself and then introduce our guests today.
Yeah, I'm Tiffany Grubb, Director of Membership and Marketing with the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. And today we have Thommy Long, owner of LemonGrenade Creative. They're a graphic design firm in downtown Hamilton. So it's
Thommy, you're up.
All right, well, thank you. So yes, what we're going to talk about today is digital marketing. First thing I want to do is just kind of give you a little history about what we do here at LemonGrenade. So LemonGrenade, we are a full service creative agency, which means we do graphic design, branding, and marketing. So with the graphic design side, we do a lot of print collateral. So we do, you know, corporate identities. This is our little logo book here, little show and tell. Lots of print collateral. So as far as brochures and annual reports, lots of packaging. So we do, you know, lots of breweries here in town. So that's kind of the print side. And then the digital side, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, we do websites, videos, social media, and things like that. So with the current situation, the focus of today's conversation is just going to be some tips that that you can do with your small business that'll just marketing tips in general in the digital arena. So what I'd like to do then is just kind of get started and just kind of hop right into the presentation here. So I'm going to share my screen. See if I can get this to work correctly. All right. Does everybody have that? All right. So let me click on here. All right. So tip number one. So I broke these down into just 5 or 6 different tips. Tip number one, we're calling put your pedal to the metal. So bullet point one, invest in your marketing. So really, this is the time where you shouldn't be silent. You shouldn't not be communicating with your customers. Your customers need to hear from you during this time. Now is the time to get your name out there in front of potential new clients, especially if your competitors are not, if they are suspending their marketing. You're going to see a lot of racing metaphors in this presentation, but it's easy to win if you're only one in the race. So if your competitors are not doing anything right now, this is really the time to get in front of new potential clients. Communicate and be transparent. You don't want your customers left wondering, are you even open now? Are you operating? Or about the current status of your services. Tip number 2, get your digital on. So right now, live events are being canceled left and right or being rescheduled for further in the year. So with no trade shows or in-person events means there's a much smaller need right now for traditional printed material. So things like brochures, catalogs, annual reports, there's really not much of a need for these printed materials right now. So my big advice right now is to take that marketing budget, those marketing dollars that you would have for trade shows, your banners, your pull-up banners, things like that, and use that budget into digital channels such as SEO, search engine optimization. Put that money in looking at your websites, your social media, and email campaigns. Basically, any digital platform, any type of platform that uses a screen is really where you should be spending your marketing time, your marketing budget right now. Tip number 3, I'm just calling start your search engines. The very first thing I tell small businesses to do right now is to Google your own business. Look up the name of your business. Don't put in your URL. Don't go directly to your website. Just go to Google, type in your business, and just see what pops up. See where you are in the search results. I always recommend that you do this on a cellular, cell phone or an iPad. 85, I think the statistic is like 85% of new potential clients are looking at your business on a phone. So really that's the best way to search for your own business. The other thing is to update your Google business listing. With all this downtime right now, businesses are looking internally and looking at their own internal marketing. And really to finish up those Google businesses, do you have your hours? Do you have your phone numbers? Do you have a description? Do you have photos? Is there a map connected to your business? The other thing is to ask your existing clients and friends and customers to just do a simple Google review. I've talked to a local Google expert here in town, and I think the magic number is 10, but before your business has 10 reviews, it's almost like Google doesn't really take your business too seriously. Once you hit that magic number of 10, it bumps it up in the indexing and how to find your business. And I noticed that after I did that with my own business, LemonGrenade is kind of an unusual name, so we were usually first, but then the second listing, the third listing would be video game reference or things like that. But after I got those 10 Google reviews, if you look up LemonGrenade now, probably the first 20 things right now are our business. The other thing is, with digital marketing is Google your competition. You know, how do they show up? Are they in directories or on websites that you should be on? You know, are you a member of the chamber? You know, shameless plug. You know, they have a directory there with all the businesses. You know, things like the Nextdoor app. You know, so if you're a small business, construction business, or a house painter, you know, there's something about referrals and word of mouth. So I highly recommend of looking for websites or apps that's very specific to your industry, and make sure that you are on the directories for those type of websites as well. And then the last bullet point on here is just simply make sure you update your website and your social networks, and we'll get into that a little bit more here in a second. Tip number 4, kickstart your website. So your website usually, or your social media channel, a lot of times, especially now, is the first impression of your business. So, you know, I'd like for you to ask these questions when looking at your own website. You know, can you make simple changes, or is it really the time to redesign or revamp the entire website? Can you get away right now with just changing some copy or images, or writing some blogs, or just updating your inventory? How old is your website? You know, the big thing with website design, we're constantly redesigning 10-year-old websites because they're not mobile friendly. They don't look good on an iPhone or a mobile phone. They don't look good on a website. So you know, look at your website on all the different platforms. Is the info on your website still relevant? You know, I look all the time on websites, and they have, you know, staff members that are no longer there, or they have services that are discontinued, or they have a product that they haven't sold in 10 years. So just making sure that everything on your website is relevant. The last one I think is very important. Do you have an About Us page that tells your story and the passion that drives you on your website? Is there good pictures of you and your staff? You know, personal touches really build trust. One thing that I hear all the time from my new clients, you know, the first thing they do, whether they find us through a Google search, or if it's a referral, one of the first things they do is they go to our website, and I'll just kind of share this. So we have a Meet the Team page, and for fun, we have our baby pictures, and when you scroll over them, they have the current photos. And then when you click on them, you know, I got my famous Who Farted shirt on there. But it has a little bio. So it's those little personal touches that really help with digital marketing. So it's that personal connection. Tip number 5, I have time to get social. So are you active on social media? If not, now is really time to make sure that you have your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, LinkedIn. You know, if you're a restaurant or someone that's selling a product, you know, Instagram is really important to show those types of photos. And make sure that if you have social media, that you're using it properly, and you're updating, at least, you know, posting things, you know, at least once a week. I tell my clients, I would rather you not have any social media if you're not going to use it. It almost reflects poorly on the business and who's running the business if they have something and they're just not using it. Review both your personal and business pages. So make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Make sure your resume is up to date. You know, is your headshot 20 years old? Are you using the old logo from a couple years ago on these pages? So just kind of go look through your entire digital, do a digital audit, and really look through all your digital footprint, and just look to make sure everything's current. Explore different types of content for your audience. So, you know, a big thing right now is videos. I'm seeing a huge surge with my clients wanting videos. And a lot of times it's these 15 to 30-second videos that you can put on social media. One bit of advice with that is if you do create video for these channels, make sure that you put a really good description into that video so they can find it and it's searchable. Tip number 6 I have here is go the distance. Make sure when you're pushing content out there, whether it's on your website or social media, that you're providing useful content for your clients. You know, your clients just don't want to see, you know, just your products or we'll be coming back soon. You know, really, if they're liking your Facebook page, you really should be providing some kind of either entertainment or useful information that keeps them wanting to recheck your socials and your website. So for an example, you know, if you're a hair salon and you haven't been open for 6 weeks and you know, the roots are starting to show and you know, people are complaining that they can't get in and get their hair colored, you know, put some tips on there to help your clients out to get them through this until they're able to come back into your stores. Offer delivery. This is kind of a no-brainer. A lot of companies have been doing this already, but you know, offer delivery to customers instead of people coming into your stores. Another one I put on here is promote your products instead of your services. So let's just use the hair salon again as an example. Obviously, you know, it's been a while since people have been into the salon, so you know, you're still selling all these different products. A big one that I've noticed a lot lately is live sales and auctions. So I'm kind of a vintage toy nerd, so I collect a lot of old 1980s toys and things like that. And I would go to a lot of these local toy stores and flea markets and shops and places like that to look for my plastic crack. And one thing that I've noticed is a lot of Facebook groups and Facebook pages, stores that are not open will simply do a live sale to where they will hold up an item. And if they, you know, have 50 people watching it, they just simply say, you know, this particular product, we're selling it at $5, put claim in the comments, send me your address, and they sell their products right there online. And I've talked to a lot of my friends that do this, and they said that they've actually done extremely well on these live sales and auctions. So one way is just to simply sell the product. The other one, if it's a unique item, is to actually just start an auction and put a timer on it, things like that. So that's been very successful. Partner up with other local businesses to provide, you know, unique bundled services or products. And then the last thing on this slide is I just wanted to give, for those of you who are not familiar with the program, what we have done, so building on this whole providing useful content to your clients. So LemonGrenade teamed up with the chamber to do something called the Free Lemonade social media program. So, you know, a month ago, a lot of my designers here on staff, you know, they had some free time, they are open. So we are thinking and brainstorming, how can we give back to the community, but also market our business as well. So what we had done is we set up a program to where small businesses could reach out to us and give us their main core messaging, whether it was a sale, whether it was, we miss you guys, we'll be back. And what we would do is then design their materials at no charge to them and then provide them with JPEGs that they could put on their social media. A lot of our clients at this time couldn't afford marketing. They couldn't afford design work. They're worried about payroll. They're worried about paying their rent. So, you know, we're good at what we do, and we decided it's not a lot of investment on my end to do digital campaigns for our clients because there's no printing costs, there's no proofs, there's no delivery. It's just simply you can do it on your computer and you can deliver it digitally. So one thing that we noticed, you know, out of that is we had over 30 businesses sign up for it. We had over 100 hours put into it. And what was great about it is, we were starting to show businesses their brand in a whole new light. They had never thought about using this type of fonts or these colors or this photography style. And it was a lot of fun for my staff to work on brands that basically had they could do whatever they want because they had never worked in this brand. So it was fresh and exciting, and built team morale for my staff, but also it was exciting for the local businesses to see how we interpreted their brand. And one thing I noticed that a lot of these businesses that we provided free services for became paying clients. They became new clients because we went above and beyond and provided useful content to our clients. So I believe, do I have any more? Nope, that is it. So that's kind of my tips right now on digital marketing. I don't know if I turn this over to you, Tiffany, for questions or just to start a dialogue in general. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point.
We can just open it up for any questions anyone has right now.
Oh, come on. Someone's got questions.
I'll ask a question. Thommy, do you have any tips for people, since we're stuck in our homes, doing these videos for the content? Can you give us some tips on lighting? Like, how long should they be? I know they should be short.
I think it really depends as far as length goes. It really depends on what vehicle, where these are going to live. If it's social media, attention spans in the last 10 years have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. So I think on social media where there's a news feed and you can simply scroll up, you need to keep them kind of short and sweet. So we've been finding kind of the industry standard for Facebook is usually that 15 to 30 second spot. As far as, equipment and technology, it's amazing the cameras nowadays on smartphones. So, I don't think you need any type of, you don't need to purchase anything as far as equipment. You can do everything right on your phone. And there's a lot of apps out there for easy editing and adding graphics to the front and to the end of the video. Any other questions?
Thommy, you want to talk a little bit more about Google? Google's one of my favorite things, and I think it's super important for businesses to take it seriously, go and check their information. Adding photos is another thing they need to do.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Adding photos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So when you go to that Google business page, that's the one thing I notice a lot with our clients is, they spend all their energy on their own website or, Facebook, and they really miss this great resource of just their Google business page. So yes, there's galleries where you can add your products, you can add photos of your store right there on your Google business page.
Question. Besides the reviews, is there anything that we can do that would make our website, populate on the top 10 or 20 list, like photos and reviews? I mean, if you're a brand new company, sometimes it's hard to get reviews.
Yeah. So one is just like I mentioned in the presentation of joining every directory and apps of within your industry, like the Nextdoor app, things like that. The other thing is just using keywords on your homepage, things like that. So when someone searches for, it's, you know, those keywords pop up. And I would do that across the board with, you know, one thing I noticed with Facebook, you know, the very first thing usually if a business is doing things correctly is their website pops up number one, and then their social media channels pop up second. For a lot of companies that, you know, only their website pops up, it's because on their Facebook page, you know, they have their pretty logo and they have some posts here and there, but they're not filling out all those great forms on Facebook that has, you know, the about us and the services and things like that. So really go in and look at your social media channels and see if you've left a lot of fields empty, and that'll really help with search engine.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Tommy, you also mentioned the chamber. Anybody that's a chamber member, you all have a profile on the chamber page. And every day we get people who are finding you through us before they're finding you through you. So if you're a chamber member, definitely go to your back office, add your keywords, add some photos. You can add a video, add your driving directions, all the information in there. It's part of your SEO. And go Google yourself. I guarantee you, if you're chamber members, you will probably see yourself as part of the chamber before you will see yourself as your own business. And if you have any questions about doing that, please.
Tommy, I have another question.
Oh, go ahead. Go ask me or Tiffany. We'll help you out with that. Go ahead.
I didn't even know that, Laura. Thank you. So I'm extremely complicated with everything that I do. So would you recommend one web page that covers everything, that then directs people to specific places? Like I have my financial website, I can link from my design website to that website, but I can't link back from my financial page to my design page because of compliance issues. But I do so many different things, and it's like even trying to give my description of what I do. So would you recommend separate web pages, separate entities for each entity that I am, or trying to combine it all?
Well, we do a lot for clients when it comes to when they own multiple brands or multiple companies, and kind of create that umbrella to where it's you know, it's the main mothership, and then they have their sub brands underneath that. Now, let me ask you this: is your brands, do they fall under one name, or do you have separate logos and identity?
Right now, I guess my brand name would be 4 Houses for Life.
Okay.
Body, mind, spirit, and financial health. So under the body is where, because I have a design degree and an architecture degree, and I design houses, special needs, that's very unique in what I do. But then I have areas on there that I do mind education, as far as, you know, the power of positive thinking, all that. We get into the spiritual connection with, this is what my program that I'm doing with crisis recovery is. But then I have this whole other entity. There's a lot of people that do body, mind, spirit, right? Mm-hmm. But then I cover the financial piece too, because I feel that without a strong financial foundation, you can't have any of the other stuff. So yeah, so right now it's 4 Houses for Life. I have a logo that covers it all. It's just really hard for me, because for me, it's one message, but for most people, it's a lot of different businesses.
Yeah. So once again, getting back to the attention span, I don't like to do, if I go to open up a brochure, or if I go to a website and there's paragraphs and paragraphs of copy, I just automatically tune out. So my advice for you would be to have a different website to where you really can focus on, your products and services for that particular business. You know, if I'm going to your overall URL, but I'm looking something for just mind or body or whatever, and then there's also your design and your house designs and things like that, and it's buried or further down the page, I might just look for someone who's a little bit more focused on exactly what I'm looking for. So I would develop sub brands. Now, there's nothing wrong with having an overall umbrella brand, and you know, you can do consistency through branding. So you know, you could have sub logos and use a limited color palette, you know, use a limited fonts and things like that, and develop your sub brands. But I think you know, with websites and just it's a good idea to have different URLs, different ways for people to find you. So if they're searching for a very specific key term, that they find that specific website instead of you're trying to find hoping that they find you through that overall brand. So yeah, I think I would keep those separate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thommy, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit. You've been a very valuable member to our organization and now a board member, and we're proud to have you on our board, and have helped us a great deal in our branding and marketing and all of that. And my question to you is, how has the Chamber helped your business, being involved with the Chamber?
Oh, well, I don't know where to start. Just because there's so much. One, you know, being a chamber member, you know, it's referrals. I mean, I feel like, you know, I met the whole staff when I, you know, moved my business to Hamilton, you know, a little over 5 years ago, and joining the chamber was one of the first things that I did, and immediately there was connections being made. So it was, you know, I was talking to a lot of small business owners here in Hamilton, and you know, I was walking them through my studio, and I'd be like, "Oh, I need an alarm system," and they're like, "Oh, you need to call Southwest Ohio; they're a Hamilton company," or you know, that kind of thing, or hey, I need, you know, just trying to think of examples here around the studio, but whenever I would mention a need, there would be some kind of networking with other chamber members. So I think the biggest value with joining the chamber was just the networking and the referrals. So many times I get a new client that calls me and they started at the chamber to get information. And what's great for me is logo design and branding is one of the first things that a company needs. So, you know, a new business comes to the chamber and asks about how to start a business. But one of the first things that, you know, I found out from working with the chamber is one of the first things they ask is, you know, we need to start working on our brand, and you guys refer us. So I think that's been one of the greatest benefits for me personally, is just that connection with other businesses, and the networking and the fantastic events, you know. So, you know, like the Hamapalooza, you know, that taking a usually stale model of just a enclosed tents of businesses, you know, you guys made it an event. You invited local breweries, you invited that live music, and actually made it an event that people would want to go to. So I think that's a big value of the chamber is the production value of some of these events. So I don't know if I answered your question all the way.
Yes, thank you.
Shut them up.
I just want to mention too that Thommy refers a lot of his clients to the chamber. That would not otherwise get to us as quickly as his referrals. So I just talked to one of your new clients yesterday, actually. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know who that is.
Yeah, building a facility. So.
Yeah, just finished their website and their logo. So fantastic.
Any other questions, comments to Thommy, or anything you want to bring up, concerns? It's coffee and conversation, so let's have conversation.
And this presentation was mainly just on the digital side of, things are starting to reopen. People are starting to venture back out. So, the focus here was the now of digital marketing. But if you have any questions about, traditional prints or, direct mail, things like that, we do that constantly. It's just the focus today was more on the digital side. But I'm open to any questions.
Sure, I got a question. It's based on your company. The people that work there, is the work more solo or is it teamwork for creating logos and stuff for a company? And also, what was I going to ask? I don't know. Answer that one first.
Sure. So my background is, I worked for a lot of different agencies, big and small in Cincinnati. But I also was a adjunct professor at the Art Academy in Cincinnati for 7 years. So when I started my studio, I wanted to run it like a classroom. So what's great about our system or our process is that every logo project that comes in the door here, my entire team works on it. I don't simply get a new logo and say, Allison, you work on this logo, and then, it's limited to maybe her style or things like that. We cast a wide net with our round one designs because everyone here works on every single logo. So, if you look at this logo book, you can see my style because I like flat color. I like super clean. Some of my other designers like, the kind of the rustic look or the distressed type, things like that. So, so to answer your question, we all work, we have a creative briefing where we go over the project. We usually assign one designer to do a competitor's audit or, to find mood boards, to find all the competitors, logos, things like that. And then we all work individually. And that's where it's like that classroom to where they work individually, but then we have an internal pitch. So what we do is in our conference room, all the designers bring their designs and they pitch them to me. So I'm almost acting as that professor. So as creative director, we go through it and we look at all the options and we go through each one, and then we have that kind of constructive criticism where one designer might say to one of the other designers, that looks great, but have you thought about this? And so we have that internal process before anything goes to the client. So yeah, so if I had to describe our process in one word, it's like a classroom.
Okay, that's neat. I was just curious. And I remembered the second question. It was, do you have like different like groups that like specialize in the digital marketing aspect, the branding, like, or is everybody like good at everything? Or do you know what I mean?
Well, every designer, every designer has styles and different skill sets. I have some designers here on staff that love to illustrate. So, getting paper and pencil out and drawing. I have other designers that feel better with typography or color. We have little nicknames for certain teams where if we know a logo needs to be a little bit softer or certain type of color palette or certain targeted audience, we have a couple designers that I let them kind of be the creative lead on that. The other thing we do is once we establish a brand, like Listerman Brewing Company is a big client of ours. What I like to do is have one designer be that creative lead. So I want them to be the expert on that brand. I want them to know, memorize the Pantone colors, memorize the fonts, know everything about that business. Now, every designer here can work on every single brand, but I'd like to have a creative lead on every single brand. But I always compare graphic design like music or movies. Not everybody likes the same type of music. Not everybody likes the same type of movies or things like that. Graphic design is the same way. You know, I like super clean and flat color. That doesn't mean the client's going to like that. So what's great here is I have a very well-rounded team where every time we pitch a logo, really all the boxes are checked on every different style, possible style. So
cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just wanted to throw in a quick testimonial for Tommy. I mean, we've had him do a few things, and if you feel like you want to freshen some things up, he and his crew do a great job. I mean, we took our billboard designs to them, and man, he did exactly. We gave him the theme, he took it, they ran with it, and it came out perfect. We've done some other things. We had a group presentation we were going to do that went beyond just the funeral home. There were three professionals that were going to do it, and we wanted to logo it sort of independently, and they came up with a great theme, a great logo for it. So they really do top of the line work, and I know we appreciate everything he's done here for us too.
Wow, thank you. You just made my day. Thanks. Any other comments or questions about just branding or marketing or graphic design in general? Any from the other students or anything? If not, I'll hand it back over to Tiffany if she's still around. Oh, she's on mute.
Dan, do you have anything else?
Well, I think that, you know, I want to once again thank everybody for joining us. We are going to be doing these coffee and conversations every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. We really thank Tommy joining us today. Incredible information, great partner with us. And everyone he works with is extremely satisfied and pleased. So I think that, Tiffany, we want to talk about next Tuesday. These coffee and conversations, this new piece we've added, which is why Tommy's with us today, and the president of Fort Hamilton Hospital was last week, is Ask the Experts. So each week we're going to have someone join us that's an expert, you know, on their topic. So we hope that you will continue to join us. I sound like I'm signing off because I am, because I have another call. I'm going to turn, we have a really exciting topic for next Tuesday. So I'm going to turn it back over to Tiffany.
Yeah, Jane is actually our speaker next week. Jane, do you want to talk just a couple minutes about what you'll be speaking about with Coffee and Conversation next week?
I'm going to talk to you about how to win the lottery. It's great. No. So, we're going to talk to you about the return to the workplace and things that are out there in the stratosphere on the best way of implementing this, steps that you can take, research that's been done, and just to help make it easier for you and to get your employees and potential customers comfortable so that you can execute it in the best possible way.
So you're going to be talking about, I think you had mentioned this before, like how to configure your workspace and the design piece of that.
Exactly. Just, you know, the regulations through NIOSH and CDC, plus how we view how you can take what you have and utilize it so that everybody is safe and that your environment is a workable one for everybody.
Great, looking forward to that. Just a couple other announcements. Tomorrow, Lisa Sandlin will be doing her second series for her crisis recovery seminar, and that's at 1:30, correct, Lisa? Yes, so 1:30. If you go to hamilton-ohio.com, you'll see all of our events that are happening. All of those are virtual via Zoom, so register for those. Go ahead.
Can you have the people that came on later that missed the introductions tell us who they are?
Yes, I believe that was Anne. Do you want to do an introduction?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Anne. I am newer to the chamber. So I work for Trilogy Health Services. We're a senior living community, and we are building a new building in Hamilton. It's right off Gateway Avenue, right by Bethesda Butler Hospital, and we will be assisted living, memory care, and long-term nursing care. So the building is projected to open like early 2021, but if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can see kind of the progress of the building. So that's something that's been kind of cool to share, is like the construction. So yeah.
Welcome. Welcome. And then Jane, do you want to tell us what business you're with?
Yes, and I apologize for being late, but I have a 9 o'clock meeting every day, and sometimes it lasts 5 minutes and sometimes it lasts 20 minutes, and today was a 20-minute day. So I'm Jane Garfield. I'm with APG Office Furnishings. We're a Herman Miller dealer, but we help you create environments that are successful, and we deal in all aspects of commercial design, and from healthcare to schools, to government offices, to commercial.
Great, thank you. Any last comments from anyone before we wrap up?
I just wanted to also say, I was thrilled that, we have a few marketing and graphic design students that joined us today as well. So I just wanted to say that LemonGrenade always has, every semester, we always have a co-op or an intern. So if you do some research on us and it's something that you might have an interest in, we're always looking for good people for that program as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
To kind of go off of that, actually, one of my student workers, Savannah Bryant, just recently completed a program at LemonGrenade as part of her Humanities and Creative Arts degree. And she spoke very highly of the experience at LemonGrenade.
I must say, I feel really bad because she was kind of thrown into this. So, we usually do a huge celebration with our interns on their last day and take them to lunch and pamper them all day. And she was so fantastic. We usually with interns, we might give them a little internal project or something that just to introduce them to graphic design. She was so talented and such a great designer that we were giving her real client work. I mean, she was doing beer labels for Listerman Brewing Company. The things that she could do in a day was incredible. So that's the one thing I love about, interns and co-ops, is really seeing the talent out there. So she was absolutely wonderful. I'd love to have her back, just because I feel like she got kind of ripped off because she was only here for 3 or 4 weeks when she should have been here for 16 or whatever it was.
Right.
But yeah, she was fantastic. I need to reach out to her again.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm her manager over at Miami, so I am more than happy to split hours with her, with you guys. So
absolutely, that'd be fantastic. Give me an email.
Great. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, Thommy. Thanks for everything that you do in our community. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you all later.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.